Hi, Dean here, and today I am going to show you how to create multiple websites in a local Apache server. In my previous video, I went through installing LAMP server, which includes Apache, and by default, Apache installs just a single website structure using the default web page in www folder. But it's more of a likely scenario that you'll have multiple websites going on at a single point in time, especially if you do any client work or web development, or even if you want to do different experiments or projects on your own. You'll find it very likely that you'll have multiple sites running. So in this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to accomplish setting multiple sites. I'm going to just do 2 in this tutorial, but you can use these steps to create as many websites as you want. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so here we are in our desktop, and the steps in this desktop, we're going to assume that you have LAMP already installed. If you don't have LAMP already installed, go ahead and click on the link to the video that I have over here. I did a video on installing LAMP. It's actually relatively easy, and go ahead and click that. If you don't have LAMP installed, go ahead and click that video, go through that video, and then come back here when you have LAMP installed. Then you'll be able to do these steps without a problem. So let's go ahead and get going. So first thing I want to do is we want to open up our console window, a terminal window, and I'm going to go ahead and do my persistent sudo trick, a root trick. That way we can, yeah. So now I'm in root mode, and I don't have to type sudo each time. Alright, so what I want to do is I want to make a directory structure, and I want to do slash lowercase p, and there's like that bit lowercase p basically says if the folder doesn't exist, go ahead and create it. If you don't include that and the the folder exists, it's gonna actually I don't need that, so it's gonna just give you an error. So put that to make sure that if you have a folder already, it's not going to create it. It'll just, or if you don't have a folder, it'll create it. Because I'm doing the main folder plus I'm doing another subfolder. So if it doesn't have the parent folder, basically it's going to create it. All right, so basically what I'm doing here, I'm creating a folder called site1, and in that site1 folder I'm creating a subfolder called public_html. The public underscore HTML is actually commonly used amongst Linux web host providers, and it's pretty much where all the default web documents that are publicly accessible are stored. It's good practice to have your file folder structure this way. That way it mimics pretty closely to what is on a real live web hosting site service. So let's go ahead and create that, and I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing, but I'm going to do site2. Okay, so now if we do dir, and I just want to check the permissions on our folders here. So we got site1 and site2, and our says the directory. We've got read write executable for our root user, read and execute for group, and read execute for others. That looks pretty good. I believe that's what we want. All right, and now what I want to do is I want to go ahead and let's just check the permissions on oops. Yeah. Okay, read, write, execute, read, execute, read, execute. Okay, and I'm going to do the same thing with site2. All right, so that looks good. Okay, so next thing what I want to do is I want to go ahead and create a basic HTML file to read out. So let's go and do that right now. So I'm going to go site1, that's public. Okay, and let's go ahead and create a simple HTML file. And all this HTML file is going to do is it's just going to give us a heading tag for each site that lets know which site is running. And you know something, you don't have to use a text editor. You don't have to use a text this particular text editor. You don't even have to use from command line. You can actually just go into NetBeans or something and type it there. This is quick and easy for me, so I choose to do this. But you have no limit to what text editor you can use. Whatever you think works better for you, that's fine. At the end of the day, it's still just a text file, so it doesn't really matter. All right, so okay. Now what I want to do is I want to go ahead and copy this because I'm going to pretty much use the same HTML markup in my other site. So go ahead and save that. Let's close you. And these warnings, don't worry about that. I mean, for some reason they show up as like metadata. I don't really know what they're for, but it works fine. Let's go ahead and do one for site 2 now. And what I did to get that replay of that command, I just hit the up arrow on Linux Mint. It gives the last history of the previous commands, just in case you didn't know that. Alright, and let's go ahead and change these around to site 2. And let's change you guy to site 2. Okay, so save that. Okay, close you, and now let's go. Let's just take a look at it. All right, read write. Okay, yeah, I think we'll be okay with that. I mean, if you do any writing this stuff, you can change these permissions, but you can go on the internet and show all the permissions can be changed. But that looks good. I think for this demo we'll be able to read it out fine. All right, and let's just do the same thing for. Okay, yeah, that's good. All right, so now what we want to do is we want to go into our we want to copy our etc/Apache 2 /sites available /000-default.conf. Now that's a default configuration file that Apache has by default, and it's actually what the default site uses, that splash screen that when you first install Apache, that's what it's looking at. We'll use this as a guide to change our configuration for our sites. What'd I do? Oh, I didn't put a destination. Okay. Sites. And let's call this site1.configuration. Okay, and let's do the same thing for site 2. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to edit our configuration files. So, oops. Site 1. Okay. All right. So it's got a bunch of like comments in here. It just pretty much tells you what these things do. Really, for now, we want to just worry about this stuff here. All right. So what I want to do is I want to change this to my name, Dean And that's my email address. So if you have any questions, feel free to send me email to that address. And we'll do server name equals site1.com. Okay. Now what we want to do is we want to point to the folder that holds our source file. So in this case, it will be site1 public underscore HTML. Okay, now to save myself some typing, let's go ahead and copy this, because I'm going to do essentially the same thing for the other configuration. So we go ahead and copy that. I want to save this configuration file and close this out, and I want to edit site2 configuration. Okay, and let's go ahead and paste that in, and let's change that to site2.com. Also going to change the folder in the document root. And go ahead and save that. Okay, now what we want to do is we want to enable these in Apache, and to do that we're going to do a2 in site1 .config, well, conf, sconf. Alright, it tells you to reload, but let's go ahead and do the second one. Site2. And I know you can do a reload, but I really kind of like doing a restart anyway. So, I mean, in a live environment, you don't want to be restarting Apache every time you make changes like this. Especially if you have a ton of websites on a single Apache installation on a live site. You definitely don't want to restart Apache. So reloading just reloads the configuration schema in Apache. But seeing we're local, we have no harm doing this. Okay, so we're restarted, and let's just make sure we have Apache running fine. And it is. Okay, we're good. So one other thing I got to do before we can get this to work is we want to edit the host file in Apache. Oh, actually, this etc directory. There's a file called host, and that's actually what tells web server what to point to. So we're going to type in 127.0.0.1 site1.com. I'm going to do 127, and this is just our loopback address, our local address. And like I said, because we are not on a live environment, we're actually working through a local environment, that's perfectly fine. This just says, okay, if I type site1.com, I'm going to render on my local machine. I am going to render site1.com, and with site2 as well. So let's go ahead and save that. And I don't think we need to restart Apache. It's always a good idea to do it, but I'm not. I won't. Just see what happens. It should run without restarting. I believe we're all set here. And let's go ahead and open Chrome. And you can do this in any web browser. I just prefer using Chrome. So let's go to HTTP. Yeah, I still got, like, because I was doing a previous install of this. So, alright, site1's enabled. And go HTTP site2.com. And site2 is enabled. So site1, site2, we had two individual websites, and they are rendering on the local host. So that's basically it. And you have a multiple environment in Linux. So if you have any questions on this, feel free to send me email at dean@deanforeign.com, or if you wish to send comments in the comments field, go ahead and do so. If you want to see future videos that I'm going to record, you go ahead and subscribe to my channel, and I will be giving notifications every time I post a new video on the channel. Also, if you enjoyed what you saw here, please go ahead and like hit the like button. It helps me out. And even if you think I can do it better, go ahead and hit the dislike button. But please, if you do so, let me know what I can do better. It would really help me out. And if you tell me what I can do better, I can try and make changes and make things better, and help you out in the future. Anyway, that's it. You have a multiple site environment on a local install of Apache. And in a future video, I am going to get into installing WordPress and installing WordPress on multiple copies or multiple virtual hosts. So stay tuned when I get it. And until then, happy coding.